Yes, welcome, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you've woken up well. Yeah, as much as there'll be hitches here and there, as much as a lot will be happening. Yes, every waking day we wake up to new developments, new challenges. But you see, it doesn't mean that we back off. It doesn't mean that we shy away. It means that is another opportunity for us to do that which is right. It is always absurd for you knowing the truth and you doing the opposite, doing what you are not supposed to do. And that is exactly what is it. That is what's happening around us in our continent that we so love, Africa. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Ibrahima Traore, and inspiration is my game. But today, allow me to deviate a little bit to attend to urgent matters that evolve us, that revolve around us, that concern us, as much as we might be thinking that we might be too ignorant, that they don't make sense, but in reality they do make sense. The matter in question is about Ibrahima Traore. This is the president of Bukinafaso, or the Bukinabe people. A lot of more has been going on in there, and if you've been keen enough, if you've been following what has been unfolding every single day, you understand where he's come from, and you understand his leadership. He coming from that humble background and growing up into a person that believes in the power of the people, believing that he has an opportunity to change the people's mindset. Yes, the mindset that we've been growing, always being handed over by our parents, that they inherited from the colonizers, the colonialist mind. As much as we've been given independence, but the colonialists don't want to leave us. They hold meetings. They hold the top meetings in the world, the G7, the G20, name them, but nobody is represented on the table from African continent. All they do is lie. And the biggest question that they always talk about is Africa. Its rich minerals. How are they going to control it? How are they going to strategize themselves, putting themselves in another position so that they can take control of Africa again? We've always been handed, always been given aid, the UN aids. When it was scrapped away, we complained. But you see, these are the things that want to blind us so that we do not see the bigger picture, the picture of liberating ourselves. When I've been listening, closely following the speeches of Ibrahima Traore, I see a renaissance. I see the renaissance of Muammar Gaddafi. I see the renaissance of Sankara. I see the renaissance of those great leaders, the great minds. I see the Mandela in him, who believes in the power of people. And it believes in the decolonialization of the mind, completely setting yourself free. And when you are free, is that you believe in your capabilities, you believe in the people that you serve. And that is what is called leadership. There's a lot that we can learn from this, not taking for granted. It's not just like something that we should be ignorant enough. Martin Luther King Jr. says, if you liberate your mind, then you have set yourself free. And that is the backbone, that is the pillar to which what gives direction to wherever, where, and what you want to achieve in life. Most of us have been hampered by these limitations given to us. When the European came to Africa, when they conquered Africa, they segregated us, they put us in countries. 55, 57 around there, so that they can govern us. They put on the barriers, they put on the borders, they put on, you have to have a passport to enter this particular land. They introduce the currencies so that they can make our business harder, so that we cannot be able to do business with other countries. There are a lot of protocols that has to go into there, without us realizing that we still depend upon the dollar. Why is the dollar always the most powerful currency? It's because they know about it, that as much as they want to go away from Africa, but they are scared, they cannot do without Africa. But most of the time, most than not, they do not respect us. Because why? We do not have a one voice, that we speak of one voice. Traore, I give you one love. And you know what? Whatever that you're doing is far enough reaching. It pierces through their hearts. It makes them know that true Africans have to rise from African themselves. We are not supposed to be made by some other forces, a creation of something of the sort. But this has to be an uprising from within, you believing in yourself, believing in the people that you serve, believing that they deserve better, not those leaders that come and want to manipulate. They want always to, use the developed countries, the rich countries, so that they keep on manipulating us, making sure that we are just in that cocoon, that we cannot balloon out of ourselves, we cannot liberate ourselves. And you know what? History will always repeat itself as boldly, and always truth will always stand as always as bubbles on a seasonal pond. From our point, I'm talking about Al-Mazrui, Professor Al-Mazrui, the guy who never went to school, but he did his education offline, distant learning. And may the Lord rest his soul in peace. Al-Mazrui said, we are very quick to use things that we do not manufacture. Yes, we use things that we don't manufacture, and then we give away that which is very important. When you go to a cafeteria, when you go to a cave, maybe a nice hotel, wherever in Africa, you will get Nescafe. Nescafe is made in Switzerland. But believe you me, Switzerland does not produce any coffee anywhere. It does not exist. Then why is it that this Nestle from the company in Switzerland is the one that is producing Nescafe and is being sold to us at exorbitant prices, whereas they buy from us at a cheaper price? Because they still want to have relevance in the African affairs. That is why they don't want to liberate us. They took some of our forefathers or grandfathers, those who seem to be bright, they took them to school. And that's why they formed some various schools. If you go in Uganda, there was that school that existed. If you come to Kenya, there was the Lions School. That school was from the elite. These were people that were meant to be able to help the colonizers to manipulate us, to push their agenda, so that we stay in our cocoon without realizing the potential, the power that we have inside of us. They have made us to be fools for so long, but Traore has just demonstrated what it calls for. It calls for you believing in yourself and do not be scared. If you want something, you must be on the forefront, doing that which is right. And when you do that which is right, sometimes you might be walking a lone road. You are like a lone wolf. You are like that eagle that is flying in an airspace where there is no other competition. And that is when you become an enemy for everyone else. People think that you're weird. People think that you're out of your senses because there's no one who has come out boldly enough and standing out for what it means. His conscience is right. As much as you will hate him, but you know what? Africa youth, we have to rise with Traore. We have to support the Bukinabe. It's been so long. They've tried, they've struggled, but look at what is happening in Bukinafaso. The infrastructure, the young people are doing their work, not the other companies that are brought. They bid their tenders, then they are given, then somebody gets a cut somewhere. These are big lessons for us to learn from. We can never shy away. We can never run. If we run, then who is going to stand out for us? Who's going to shout these echo sentiments and put them the way they're supposed to appear? Yes, sometimes it might not make sense, but it will make sense. Someone somewhere is seeing this. The African continent is tired, sick and tired, for we've been taken as slaves. The colonizers came into Africa, and what did they do? They took our artifacts, the artifacts that are of very, very significance to us. They are historical. They meant so much to us, but they've been taken to the museums in the abroad. You go to Berlin, to Germany, there are museums. You go to the US, there are museums. These museums have been put with artifacts from Africa. And then when you enter this museum, you got to pay for them. What does that tell us? It tells us this is the moment to wake up from slumber. It's far long we've been sleeping. It's far long we've been waiting for the right moment. But this right moment is now. Yes, you're gonna fold your sleeves. It is wartime. The battleground is ready. And you know what? It starts with one person. Yes, we have to represent ourselves. We have to stand for our very own. It's been a long time we have waited, but this Traore, Ibrahima Traore, I salute you, my friend. And wherever you're listening to this, you know, we are backing you up. We are standing with you. That is an extraordinary. And for you to do something that is extraordinary, it means you have to do it on your own way. That is why you walk a path that nobody believed it would be possible. There are hurdles, there are setbacks, but my brother, hang in there. There are challenges, just as it has to happen. Nothing good comes easy. There are sacrifices that you got to pay. Yes, be willing to pay those sacrifices, but no one should make you shy away. Do not be swayed. Do not be taken aback. Always keep your focus. We are watching. Africa is watching, and we are tired. Because for so long we have been using us. We've been used because of their own gain, forgetting that we too can liberate ourselves. Gaddafi started it. He wanted to do a lot more, but where is he? They fixed a plan. They eliminated him. He no longer exists. But that does not mean he shy away. Truth will always disintegrate. It doesn't take how long. It doesn't matter how many hurdles or how many generations we come. But the president that you've set, it is a wake-up call from all African countries and all leaders. Who is a leader? A leader is the person who leads, makes others people, thinks of them, knows where they are, feels their pain, walks in their shoes, and knows one way, one thing, that you know what, if these people do not get what they deserve. Remember, this journey takes a long step back. Well, if you've been reading a history, of which I know some brilliant mind, the people who are inquisitive enough have had that opportunity to do that. It is in 1884 that, you know what, the European came to Africa and they studied and surveyed everything. And then after that, the European decided that, you know what, this Africa is a very rich continent. They sent the Portuguese first. Those were the explorers. They were to find, you know what, they're seeing where there is potential. Then after that, they went and sat in Berlin, and that is where it's all decided. And you know what? That is the beginning of the scramble of Africa. They started the rich places in Africa. And that is why you'll believe with me, you've been watching, if you've been following me, if you're very inquisitive enough, if you are a person that is aware, you know why Congo cannot be free up to this moment. Why? Because they are busy strategizing. They are busy disrupting the people there. They are busy making these people suffer. And while they fight, they're still mining. And what are they mining? They're mining the minerals. They're taking them to their land. And, you know, they're leaving the Congolese people just as poor as they were from that 1884, before they came to Africa. That is the exact picture that is being painted. And you know what? The young Africans, they should rise up. I listened to the statement of PLO Lumumba, and he spoke with eloquent, without fear and favorism. He didn't mince his words. He said it. You know, it is about to us redefining and recolonizing our mind again. If we are able to move in the 21st century free. Ngugi wa Thiong'o said it. Ngugi wa Thiong'o put it completely, that we have to decolonize our mind. Yes, we got independence, but that is not free. We still operate with the system of the colonizers, and we still have to serve them as their master. We do not make our own decision, just as Ibrahima Traore is making, but we depend upon other people to pull the strings for us like a marionette so that we can function. It's over, my friend. Africa has to stand as Africa. Africa must stand alone. Chinua Achebe said, you know what? The European is a very clever man, because he knew what? He cannot be able to conquer. He cannot be able to win the African minds, because we are very sharp. The biggest engineers, the biggest people who are making innovations all over the walks of the world, in US, in UK, they are African, they're black people. And I know one thing, Chinua Achebe said, That, you know what, the European is a sharp man. He put a knife in those things that, you know what, that brought us together. And then he cut them off. That is why we hate one another. That is why we are always jealous when somebody makes advancement, when somebody comes out with something new. That is why we are jealous when we see something good coming up. We always want to undermine it. We always sit behind in the small meetings and you discuss somebody without even considering the benefits that we will get, the repercussion that will, the trickle down effect. We just going with a blind mindset, but this is time to free your mind. And when you free your mind, you're set free. And when you're free indeed. You make your own conclusion. It's about you sitting behind and looking, not looking at your shadow, but looking at the mirror. And you know what? Knowing that, yes, I have a responsibility. I must do something. And it all starts with me believing. It's a belief, it comes with me understanding where I've come from. Yes, it's been a long journey, a treacherous journey. We were sold as slavery. Yes, they captured our mind. They won in our mentality. And then they just started to pick our strongest men. And those are the ones who were sold in slavery. Back in Kenya, there's this caravan that came from, it was organized by Chief Kivoi, if you've read history, right? And this caravan, it took strong men who could carry the elephant tusks on their shoulders all the way to Mombasa, only to be given in exchange that they will be given spices that were being brought back. Just imagine how drained mentally we are. We have to rise again. It is not about that our history is not that rich, but how many of our stories are we echoing them up with the same resentment? I beg that whatever I'm saying should find some place in your heart. I beg that whatever I'm talking about should open up your mind and to make you rethink again, rework, reframe your mindset. Yes, all that we've been doing, the system that we've been following, that you need to have a white-collar job, this is a mentality that has gone. It is gone with time. We have to be new now in the new era that we are in, where there's a lot of more for us to explore. We've forgotten our history. We think that when we read Shakespeare and Charles Dickens, that is what is important. But we've forgotten about our writers, the Ngugi wa Thiong'o, Kotpe Chinua Achebe. We've forgotten about the Grace Ogot. We've forgotten about these writers that could write. And they could paint our histories. Who's gonna write for our history? Who's gonna tell the stories with the same emphatic voice, with the same similarity, just as it was done before? Who's gonna stand out right now if nobody's gonna stand for ourselves? It is time. And it's time for us to realize that we have a role to play. We have a role in this. It is about us. It is not about them. It is about us. Why do they think? Why is it that we are just the center of concern? Anytime they want to have a hand in it, what do you think? Ask yourself critically with your conscious mind, what do you think is so much important about Africa? Because the potential that is in Africa. The potential that is in our youth. The other day I was reading a young person from Namibia who has made a phone that does not need a SIM card. That is something creative from our own Africa. We can no longer take it easy. Yes, Chinua Achebe wrote, no longer at ease. And you see, as I say, kudos, I really repeat that Africa, this is a time. If you're looking for leadership, if you're looking for people that believe in themselves, that are willing to go out of the front door and show the world that this is what we want and this is what we are capable of. If you are left free, if you are left on our own, for how long will we depend on them? We have so much in Africa, but you see what? We're still going. And when hunger strikes, we all call, we face the white, for the countries which are able, we want aid from other sources, because we cannot be able even to feed ourselves. Yet we say we have technology in agriculture. We say we have doctors. They are qualified doctors. But how many of them are working currently? We don't have the best doctors because we don't want to pay them. The mentality is that Africans have to have a problem. The politicians believe that, you see what, when they don't have a problem, then they will not vote for us. That is a mentality that we should rethink. We should have leaders, and a leader is the one that leads from behind. You know what? Let the people decide what they want, and then you as the leader comes and implements that. That is what leadership is all about. Ibrahima Traore, I salute you. You've shown us the way. And this is the time that we've been waiting for. This is the moment. It starts now. Don't wait for another person to do it. We're going to do it. We're going to rise with you. We're going to support you. We're going to make noise wherever we'll be. And we know what? This is the moment that we've been living in the past for so long. We've been manipulated. We've been taken for a ride. But this time we're saying, no, there's no way. We got to rise again. We got to move like a sensible tree. For so long we've been waited. But this is a kind of leadership. And you know, African leaders are watching. I know they are seeing whatever you're doing. And they are learning. Those who are bright enough, they're learning. Yes, it's about democracy. Democracy is a word that started in Greek. Pierre Lumumba puts it right eloquently. Yes, they are idiots. Yes, these idiots, they are people. The people have gone to school. They have the PhDs. They have the masters. They have the doctorates. But you see, these are the people that you see their reasoning does not go in tandem with your needs. These idiots, when there is a pothole, he buys a 4x4. Yes, when he sees that this road cannot be passable, then he uses a chopper. Those are idiots. And then there are tribalists. The tribalists are the people that don't believe that you can make something good out of yourself, that you cannot think outside the box. You cannot imagine things and make them come to a reality. They believe that this is my tribe. This is not me. Modo anyoba, adoa kwa kivindio. Those are the kind of things that we should have. That these are Baganda, these are Tanzanian, these are Malawian, these are Burundian. But you see, think about the migration of these tribes, how we used to live together, and then we migrated, occupying these various places. From the river Lake Nilotes, they followed the river because their delicacy was fish. There was the farmers. These are coming up, all the tribes from the Luya community. This is one. And we have to come again and reunite ourselves once more time. That ride has been a bumpy ride. It's not been a good ride. But you see that wake-up call, that is coming from Ibrahima Traore, and is shaking waves all over. It's hitting them below the belt. And without mincing word, you know what? He tells them the truth, and truth is bitter. That is why they'll fight you. Truth is bitter. Nobody wants to change. People are very resistant to the truth that they do not know anything about. And that is typically the people that we see, the leaders that we want, always to manipulate and use those opportunities. That's why they don't want to get good education, because they want to come again and lie to you. That time is over. It's a wake-up call. And young men, young people were watching, young leaders. The other day I saw very brave man from, he didn't specify where he was, but you know what he talked, Wanjala, I suppose that is his right name. That was wonderful. We have to speak with one voice. We have some time. This is a matter of agency. This is a matter of life and death. This is a matter about our Africa. This is about what was said. Yes, nobody has our interest at heart. Nobody feels our pain. When we die, that is it. Remember the time of Corona, we were pleading, give us Pfizer, give us whatever. And yet we have doctors here. It's crazy. It's absurd. Yes, it is really absurd. When we say we are producing engineers from our universities, and when a tender comes, it is the Chinese who are building roads. It's absurd. It's a theater of the absurd. Yes. And Albert Einstein said, when you take a comedian a comedian and you put him on a very important stage, then that you've invited circus. This is sarcasm that we should stop. This sarcasm that we should move away from. This sarcasm that we cannot entertain, and this is happening to us, and this is an eye-opener. We have to move from darkness to light, liberating our minds and thinking as thinkers, not thinking as fools. Ladies and gentlemen, that's my take for today. I deviated a bit, but I pray and believe that these words get a place in your heart and makes you reflect, makes you think about what it is that you want to do. If you want to make an impact, you have to start alone. Sometimes it's weird, it's scary. And if it doesn't scare you, then it doesn't have any significance. Anything, even in your dream, has to scare you a bit or scare you to the core. And that is what many of us do not want to do. We always want easy things. We want comfortable things. But you know what? This is about us. It is not about them. It's not about who, but it's about us, the Bukinabe brothers. Yes, it's about us. And this is a time to reflect, to think. And you know what? Without which those limitations that have been imposed on, the self-limitation, the people thinking and giving us solving our problem, yet we can solve our own problems. This is ridiculous, but this is the right time. This is the time. This is the kind of need. This is just a tip of iceberg. More is yet to come. You know what? We're gonna stand out. The time for these regimes that have always been living in the colonial mindset. They always think that, you know what, when you take those bright chaps and put them together, then that dream is dwindled, shattered away. Their time is over. This time people are very much sharp. They know, they see and they know what they want. They see the bigger picture before you could say it. So if you're a leader, be willing. Understand that, you know what, you're not coming because of your own benefit. You're coming because you love the people, because you want to improve, using the knowledge that you have, the insight that you have to better their life, to make sure they have hospitals, to make sure that they can have roads that can take them to where they have. Their produce can go to the market. But not just leaders who come and always wanting to use excuses. Excuses don't give results. Excuses is a form of fear because you are scared of somebody. That's why you want to make an excuse. But you have to sacrifice. It calls for you to have the courage to step again on that arena and you can always stand on. Yes, that platform is meant for you. That voice, it's yours. You have to talk. You have to say it the way it is. Much as you will meet so much resistance, but you see, nothing without resistance, it can never work. Even electricity, it goes through a resistor. That resistor resists so that we can get light. It's not going to be easy. It's not going to be hard, but we're going to stand behind Ibrahima Traore of Bukinafaso. The people of Bukinabe, hello, I salute you. We're together. Love you guys, and take care of yourself. That's my take today. I deviated a bit, but you know what? We continue. Mlirofai is my name. Inspiration is my game. I love you guys. Take care for yourself. Shout out to Collins Wafula Wangila. Thank you, my brother. Thank you so much. Blessed Shekila. Thank you so much. Yes, we're going to do that. We're going to believe in ourselves. Nobody feels our pain. It is our pain. Nobody understands us the more that we understand ourselves. We've come too far. Our forefathers have paid so much. Yes, do you know that some of the great leaders, the great minds that we had, do you know where their remains are? They have been put in a jar somewhere in Europe. It's very ridiculous. It pains. Do you know that? They don't have us at heart. They're not our friends. They have their interests. That is why they're keeping the ties. They want us to be closer so that they can continue dominance. They can continue doing whatever they want. The white men hate us when we shatter records in athletics, but there is no way they can deny us. They hate us when we play good football. Sometimes they just disrupt our program. They just rule us out. They say, maybe you have an ailment you cannot show on this game, because they know the power, the potential that you have inside of you. Yes, we cannot wait for that. We are now up. We elevate ourselves every single day. Another day, another new baby is born. And you know what? Bob Marley, I wind up with what Bob Nestor Marley said. Africa, unite. That was his passion. That was, why was Bob Nestor Marley so much concerned about Africa? Africa, unite. Africa, unite. Yes, and Traore is doing that. Africa, we got to stand up, and fight for our rights. No one will stand for us. No, the white man he doesn't get bothered any moment. What he says is always against anything that we do from Africa. It is always called mediocrity. But you know what? We are sending shockwaves all over. Yes, we are coming for a time, and these are new renaissance. It's an unstoppable force that no one can stand of it. Keep echoing the same sentiments with the same power, vigor, the same sentiments with the same power, the same sentiments over and over again until they get it right. If they don't get it right, then they got to understand it. If they don't understand it, then it means then we will still be there. The power of consistency. Love you guys. Little Fire is my name. Inspiration is my game, and you're gonna follow me for more. I love you guys, and take care.